All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another Ixis Hiding episode of Traversing the Veil. Yes, this is one of my homebrew D&D campaigns set in my weird, messed up homebrew D&D campaign setting, and the people below me are the people that all have really cool ideas and like make cool choices for their characters, and then I do weird stuff like what's going to happen today, and they all get mad at me.
I love your weird stuff. Your weird stuff is all of my characters. That's why
I'm sick.
The Eladrin Barbarian.
Why would it be upset with you? I mean, we only spent like 4 hours going downstairs and we found the elevator out of the bottom.
Yeah, we spent
That was really fun,
like
by the
4
way.
hours playing Maiden and Best the RPG.
And we're walking. I thought, I would take some inspiration for what inspired Dungeons and Dragons, namely, the works of Tolkien and, the entire second half of the Two Towers, which is just Frodo and Sam were walking, and then they were walking. Then they decided to walk some more, and then Gollum showed up, who decided to walk with them some more. And then he complained about the walking. The movies...
And then they sang about potatoes and continued to walk.
The movies actually did the pacing better than the book. Because the movies kind of split it between Helm's Deep, which is awesome, and the walking. And in the book, the first half of the Two Towers is Helm's Deep. And it's great. And
There's a scene in Clerks 2 where Randall does a reenactment of Lord of the Rings. And it's just, I recommend checking that out because it's just like, where he's just like walking.
I know.
And then he reenacts it too. And then he goes like, and here's 3. and then he walks back.
It is a brilliant book series. Tolkien was a phenomenal writer. And if you can make it through the walking portion, The Return of the King is a really great book. However,
you make it through 85% of the book.
No, because that's only book
Of the
2.
series. Sorry, of the series.
No, like, Fellowship of the Ring's a good book, and the first half of the Two Towers is a good book. However, The Hobbit is just a better book overall.
Yeah.
Like, everything about The Hobbit was the first Tolkien book I read. It inspired a love of fantasy. It's the reason I play D&D, was The Hobbit was so good. And then I got into Redwall, and Redwall's amazing. It's all about little mice with swords, and they're amazing. And my first book was Matt Mayo. Anyway, quick announcement. Going on right now on twitch.tv/Zelda Universe TV. Zelda Universe is doing their annual ZU-thon. And they're actually raising money this year for Able Gamers, which is an organization that works towards accessibility options in video games, which is something that is near and dear to my heart. As most people know, I'm 100% permanently and totally disabled, and I'm a huge disability advocate.
Yes.
We have more, like Ilea, my friend from Realms, who plays one of the characters, is also disabled. We have other members of a lot of my RPGs. I don't like to speak for anyone else, so if anyone else wants to talk about themselves, you're welcome to, but there are a lot of people... Katie, if you want to say something. For anyone wondering why you can't see Katie, we're having some slight internet issues, and so we have only her audio, and she's a lovely owlbear today. But, yes.
Yeah.
Katie and I have known each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Katie.
More than like 5 years.
I think we're
Pretty
getting
much
close.
more than 5 years at this point.
I think we're getting close to a decade, because King of the Kale Isles was almost 10 years ago. I think we're on like 9 years.
Oh shit!
She was in my first stream
my
campaign
God.
ever, guys. She played a druid, and she was adorable in that too.
Yep.
She eventually got the ability to turn into a unicorn, so. Because I'm cool like that, and if you wanted to be an owlbear, you could.
Yeah, and then she got the ability to turn into a young dragon, so that was awesome.
That happened too. I like doing weird stuff in my games. Anyway, so after we're done tonight, I will be rating ZU. Please support them. They're going to be playing Zelda games all the way through Sunday, I believe. It's a great cause. It's super, super fun. I've done it for the past 2 years. I wish I could have done it this year, but health was just not with me. So I'll be supporting them. Other than that, also Big B's Guide to Giants, I think is what it's called. It's a new D&D book. It's cool. There's a new barbarian that throws stuff, including its allies. It's awesome. Also,
Half of Yayi.
yeah. There's also a crap like Wizards is never shy about putting lore into their books, other than the newest Monsters of the Multiverse, where they just threw out a bunch of lore. This book is massively lore heavy. So if you're a lore hound, this probably would be one of the better books that you can get up, because there's just so much story in it. And it talks about the ordning and how, cloud giants are dicks to all the other giants because they're on top. Or storm giants, sorry. Storm giants are on top. Cloud giants are just below them.
I've never heard anyone referred to as a lore hound, but I really like that idea.
I have a series called In-Depth Reviews, and at the beginning, I separate buyers into 3 categories: players, DMs, and lorehounds, because there are a lot, through doing a lot in the D&D space, I found out there's a remarkably large population of people that buy D&D books specifically with no intention to ever play. They just really enjoy the kind of stories and the lore built into, like I knew kids that used to buy the Monster Manual to look at the art, because the art's amazing. The art has always been amazing, except for like first edition where it was weird. But the art's amazing, and the lore that they put into the Monster Manuals is really interesting to read. It's not quite like Vampire the Masquerade, where Vampire the Masquerade books are basically a novel that happens to have some game mechanics sprinkled into it. But D&D books generally, you can read a lot of them from front to back and have a lot of fun without having to play a game. But Big B's is very lore heavy, and it's interesting. It's cool stuff, especially if you're interested in how giant society works. They introduced some new giants called Death Giants, because of course you got to have Death Giants. I mean, why wouldn't you? As my players all go, we were talking about this before most of you got on the call. No Death Giants, don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have other evil things I can throw at you.
The man threw insect T-Rexes at us. I'm not holding anything as impossible.
I was proud of my insect Rex. I thought that was a cool idea.
I didn't say it was bad. I said, I'm not going to count anything out.
Anyway.
Giant cockroach named Kafka? Go for it. I don't care.
No. Wait till you guys see what's waiting for you down here.
If it's cockroaches, I'm done.
No, see, I
walk away.
I have rather large problems with insects, so Tyrannosauruses that have like carapaces, totally fine. But actual insects, kill it with fire. We have our pest guy coming out in like a week and a half, and he comes out 4 times a year to kill everything that moves. And he's a great guy. Yeah, minus us. And we have no pets right now, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, no, he's a great dude. Talk to him every time he comes out. And yeah. My brother hates bugs. I hate bugs. We have almost, like, I have not seen a living bug in this house in over a year. We find dead ones all the time, but that's kind of the point of the exterminator. So anyway, so yeah, you guys want to play some Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes,
as
please.
long as we're here. Cool.
Yeah, sure.
So now it's time for us to return to Traversing the Veil. After scaling up a large cliffside, the party was able to explore the ruins of a strange city. The city itself doesn't seem to be built with any sort of plan. The buildings pop up in almost random locations. After exploring a few of the buildings, they realized the buildings themselves seemed to have been sealed from exposure to the outside and contained scientific instruments. As they explored more of the city, they kept seeing most of the buildings having stairs leading underground. And eventually, through a decent amount of work, they were able to clear enough rubble to find one of these staircases, only to realize this staircase was massive. They spent hours going down this staircase, going deeper and deeper and deeper beneath the veil, until eventually they started seeing lights below them. And they found themselves above an entire city hidden beneath the veil. And at the center of it, a massive, miles in diameter pillar going directly up to the ruins above. And that is where we rejoin them.
All about to take the elevator and start cursing. Everything.
Well,
is
you
fine.
guys are pretty far away from the elevator. So,
And I let her go up. And I let her go down.
Elevator. Elevator.
Down, so.
Adventurers go down the hole.
It'll go down the hole.
so
Yes.
again, it took you guys about 4-ish hours to come all the way down these stairs. And where you guys are now is effectively on kind of a landing. You can see there's a few more stairs, probably maybe another like 30 or 40 feet before you would actually reach the ground level. But looking around, again, you can see the city itself, which you can see lights and things in it, though you don't really see any movement. And looking around, you can see tons of these staircases dotted all throughout the city. Seems that each one of the staircases you saw upstairs seems to connect with one of these massive staircases going down thousands and thousands of feet. So what would you all like to do?
We're on a flat landing. There's more stairs down below us.
Yeah, about like 3 more
40 more
flights.
feet, you said?
Yeah, it's between about 30 to 50 feet. So you got like 3-ish more flights of stairs to get down.
Stairs go down the hole.
Is there a banister? At this point, I'm ready to just slide down them.
These stairs are much more. These stairs are much safer. They do have railings and things
Yeah.
around them.
Definitely sliding down the rest
You
of
can
them.
slide
My
down
feet
on
hurt.
Ogon.
Yep, we're going.
You'll have to like
Lead.
go down to a landing and then go down, but it is possible.
That's okay. Make it happen.
Why don't you roll me an acrobatics check to see if you can keep your balance?
Great.
If you're that tired, you can ask your barbarian who likes to pet your ears to carry
I'm
you,
not. I fall off.
So you make it down like one of the banisters. You fall off and just kind of land there on your shoulders.
Good feeling.
Ogon kind of comes over.
Oh God, you rolled a 1.
Yeah, she rolled a
I fell off.
one.
So you fell off, and then
All the
you
way
rolled
down.
down a second flight of stairs. So you're now currently only one flight of stairs away from the ground level. You just happened to roll down one.
I reached my goal.
You've landed on that landing in the classic Family Guy pose. Just like the one leg that's just over the other.
Ogon comes over and just kind of nudges you to make sure you're alive.
I never want to see stairs again. What are you guys doing?
Are you
Why
dead?
down here?
Laughing.
Come on.
Did you yell sharpshooter when you did that? I can't understand how you managed to do that.
Hey, at least we have better luck with my gun next time. I'm rolling bad now.
I'm
So-
sorry. I'm sorry. Out of character. Didn't your son say you were gonna roll a net 20? You went the exact opposite route.
Oh no!
No, he said I would.
He said she was gonna roll.
Oh,
it
you
that
would.
way. Yeah. Yeah, that his aunt would. Loser. You should have told me I would roll 20. I would have made it down in style.
Not
So-
flat on. You did. You just went on your face in style.
Yeah. Instead of like sliding on your
folly.
feet, you slid on your face. I mean,
Your head broke your fall.
That's okay. I'll make it.
who
I'm
uses
tough.
faces anymore? You have fur everywhere, so you kind of slide on
Good.
surfaces.
Friction. Good. So anyway, I know what I did.
Right.
What are you guys doing?
Ryan picks up her hat as he walks down the stairs. Starts picking up various pieces that came off.
Say, oh, you're gonna want that. Oh, there's one of those sharpshooter crossbows. We'll need that.
I'll hold on to this for the time being.
You just start finding
Just
things
for
like,
safety.
where did you keep this? Like, you don't have pockets. Where is this coming from? We have a character in my other campaign who's a barbarian ranger, and there's been a couple times in the campaign they've had to disarm themselves to like go into a meeting with the king or something. Everyone else is like, "Shing, here you go." He's like, and like 20 minutes later, he's like, "I think that. Oh, wait a minute, I've got."
Well,
So the rest of you, do you follow
in my footsteps.
Crexney's
You had no
broken body,
footsteps.
her face
Do we
steps?
follow in your bloodstains?
Just saying. Gotta live life on the edge somehow. Mario,
But
got a
not
good
when-
start.
Probably not
Yeah,
the
but
3
not
foot
these
the
edges.
3 flight
All right,
edge.
that's more of a metaphorical thing.
Yeah, Arai's following, picking up the pieces of Crexney that were left behind.
Bringing up the pieces. Boom bada, ba da da, ba 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 da ba da ba. I played that in high school. We had a.
Joker. Persona 5.
Is that in? Did they use picking up the pieces in Persona
Yeah,
5?
Persona 5.
I didn't know
In the
that.
subway, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We had a combo that we called Saxon Violence because it was 3 saxophones and a violin player. So we were Saxon Violins. Well, we only had one, but we called it Violence because it was funnier. She had this awesome electric violin that was like fire engine red,
That's cool.
and most of it was missing because there's electric violins, so you actually
Yeah.
didn't need resonating chambers. It was super
Yeah.
cool. Anyway, so as the rest of you guys could come down, one thing you guys, well, why don't you guys all make me perception checks as you get to the
Gosh
bottom?
darn it.
Oh no.
I didn't see nothing.
Did you roll another one?
No, I'm just kidding.
You're just like, I don't need to roll. I know it's going to be a 1.
I already went down,
nice.
face down.
Wow. Wow. I
20.
actually rolled
What? There
There's
it
a
is.
20.
15.
I saw everything while going down on my face.
6.
Landing on your back has given you a unique perspective.
Yeah.
9.
9, cool. Reggie?
16.
I
Oh,
wrote-
I'm not
That would be a
Oh,
10.
10, cool. Aoi was a 15. Arai?
16.
16, cool.
15, yes.
Excellent. So,
Oh, wait, perception?
yeah, perception.
Oh, just kidding. 20.
20. Okay, cool. So, Smegwick and Reggie, you guys are a little bit more focused on kind of immediate needs. You guys are scanning the surroundings and looking for things that are going to kill you. And the first thing that you guys notice is not only do you not see any kind of movement or any thing around you that would indicate something coming towards you,
Oh, I should also.
you're really not seeing any kind of signs of
Never mind.
life. You can see some kind of non-moving objects further out away from you. You're not sure if they're piles of rubble or perhaps pieces of art or something for the city or something, but they're far enough away that they're difficult for you to see. But in your immediate area, you can see a few buildings around you. They all seem to be empty. You do notice none of the buildings have doors. They have doorways, but there are no doors, and there's nothing to indicate that doors used to be there.
Okay.
Well, good thing. 'Cause I got tired of opening the doors upstairs.
The rest of you, as you look around, you guys notice the city itself is relatively sprawling. Like the ruins above you is probably only about half the size of this city itself. So this is actually a pretty decent sized city down here. And Crexney, you specifically, as you're looking around, you notice that probably maybe a half mile away tops, you can see kind of an edge of a cliff face or something indicating a drop, and you can see something a little bit further off, but you're far enough away in the edges there that you can't really tell anything beyond that. And one thing that all of you are aware of is, as you look up, you can see the bottom of the Vale thousands of feet above you. So everything you have been told, everything you are aware of, says that you should all be dead right now or dying, because being beneath the Vale is toxic, and the Vale itself eats away most organic matter and a lot of inorganic matter too.
Well, it's not
Something's
just
wrong
being-
with this picture. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. You're fine.
Reggie was just going to say, something's wrong with this picture.
I was thinking, well, and you said the reason why this place is so unique. This is the first ruins that have ever popped up when an island has popped up. So I was thinking conversely also, while an island has popped up, flora and fauna, various types have shown up, but we've never seen no people, nothing close to a humanoid has ever popped up, right?
In the Fading Isles, there's actually been a few times. It's exceedingly rare, but it does happen every so often that an island that has popped up before has descended beneath the Vale and has come up again. Generally, it's years later. But there have been a couple instances, and the islands themselves are effectively swept clean. And despite the fact that they were able to kind of confirm through the shape of the island itself and where it rose from, it was the same island. Even when they left equipment behind it, things like that, because they had to leave in a hurry, no equipment has ever been found. And the wildlife and everything that emerges when a Fading Isle comes up from beneath of a Vale is always different. Even in these very rare cases where the same isle has come up, it has had a completely different set of flora and fauna on it.
Yeah.
And different precious metal deposits, which is generally the most important thing on most of these Fading Isles. It's why Cyclic Alley Station exists, because you can make a lot of money, because every time one of these islands comes up, they always have rich mineral veins on them. And even if they were mined dry the last time, when they come up, there's new veins in new places and new precious metals and new minerals. So yeah, this has been the first time you've ever seen anything like this.
Reggie is going to start just poking his head into the various open doorways, looking for basically any kind of object, not like furniture, but maybe just anything that isn't too big or too heavy, or something that is just not like bolted down to the floor, something that he can easily like pick up and like lift away.
Sure. Go ahead and make me a investigation check.
Right. That is a dirty 20.
Cool. So going into
Nice.
sorry, Aoi, did you have something you want to say?
I think she just said yay.
Oh, okay. Going through the closest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time delay. Fun. Going through the closest building, most of the buildings you go through, they're not kind of like cookie cutter houses like you would see in like a new subdivision or something that was just built. But they all follow very similar patterns. As you walk in, there is a very large area that you would assume to be some kind of living area. And then off of that living area, you will generally see anywhere between 2 to 5 rooms. One of them will always be what you would assume is a food prep area because it has a hearth and a place to create a fire in some surfaces that are actually built into the walls of the house to be like counters and things like that. And then the other rooms tend to be kind of private living chambers, as far as you can tell. None of them have any furniture that you can really see. A few of them have things like every so often you'll see a place that is obviously a bed, but it's literally kind of like raised stone from the ground that you would put a mattress on or something. So it's built into the house. But as far as actual furniture that you could move, like chairs or tables or anything, in none of the buildings that you go into can you find anything.
There's not even anything like their equivalent of silverware or things that would be put on these. Ah, dang it.
Nothing.
Reggie just kind of like pulls out and just kind of says like, I was kind of hoping we'd bring back some kind of evidence that all this was here.
I would say
But there's nothing. This place is empty.
From your
Yeah,
experience in kind of higher society, one thing you can be relatively certain about, you don't see any indications of any sort of kind of burglary or theft going on. It's not that these items were taken or they're missing, as if they used to be there and took them. They just don't seem to exist.
It's spooky.
This doesn't feel quite right. There'd be at least some kind of evidence that things or people were here, but there's not even a single sign.
Well, maybe we're not at the place where people would actually dwell yet, because we were topside. It was just all equipment. It was all business. That's it, right? Then we get down here. It's a little bit of rest area type spots, but that's no living area as such, right? So maybe if we keep venturing, maybe we'll see other signs.
Maybe. Can I do a quick perception check of just like the general area to see if there's like a much more massive building? I'm not talking about like the pillar, but like just a much more massive central, very like,
Sure.
like I don't know, like an official looking building.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. 15?
So looking around, you can see kind of a pattern to how things are built. Most of these pillars that go up, it seems that the housing structures are kind of built around them, as they kind of radiate out from each one of these pillars. As far as kind of a central, like a larger building, you don't really see that. Most of the buildings that you see are single-story buildings, and they all kind of radiate from each one of these pillars. They are like I guess with the 15 you'd be able to see this. When I say they radiate, they are by definition radial. Like each building moves away from these pillars in an actual circular radial pattern. You can see rings of houses and things like that. They generally don't go more than about 2 or 3 rings out. But they are very much, like, it's very obvious that they're based around these pillars.
If I were a betting man, I think if we're going to find any kind of evidence, something tells me those pillars aren't just to hold up the very scary veil ceiling. Something tells me those pillars are not just supports. I think those are actual buildings themselves. I say we go to the nearest one.
You guys just came down one.
Another one.
Okay, just making sure.
I want to head towards the elevator. That way I have way back up. I gotta know if it works. Determined. I just had a fight with stairs. I don't want to do it again, guys.
You're looking for the little signage. This elevator was last inspected.
Yep.
Oh.
A+ rating.
How far away is the elevator?
About the same distance that you guys had to the center of the ruins. So you still have a couple hours.
Okay.
Well, do you guys want to go investigate a building? You guys want to go towards the elevator?
Well, investigating buildings as good as they are. I mean, if we happen to get near how we're traveling, we may be one and the same. Close. I mean, so if we can inspect, we're supposed to be down here inspecting buildings. Side note: we are also looking for
Life.
the tablet on fighting the big bad, whatever the frig that nightmare is going to be.
Right now, the main thing I'm thinking of is assuming that this place used to house some kind of actual population. Let's say, for example, something happened and there's a big crisis. Now, typically, if a crisis happens, everyone has to get escorted or they have to make their way to some kind of single location, basically where they can all hunker down and be safe. I don't see any other different buildings around this entire place aside from those other pillars. Something tells me if we're going to find any kind of signs of life, it needs to be in some kind of single location where it's all got collected.
Or maybe something's down here that didn't need to get out. That's why they closed all the doors down.
You see, I'm ignoring that one because I'm refusing to believe that that is the case, and
doors are
I'm
locked.
going for the more
We had a
peaceful
breakdown to
option
get
right
in here.
now.
DM's like, well, we are playing with dragons this round.
Just throwing that out there.
Around.
He's down here.
I'm squishy enough.
Was it like the first 3 or 4 sessions we played? You ended up unconscious in 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't remind me.
Protect the squishy.
I'd like to think I've gotten a tiny bit better since then.
Yeah, you
Like
got
I
someone,
changed up my strategies
You got someone tanking pretty hard for you.
a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, look, shiny. Yeah, right.
That's what happens when cons are dump stat.
So,
Yep. Yep.
If you guys would like to head towards the giant pillar in the middle, whomever amongst you would like to, you guys can go ahead and I'll let you choose. You can use investigation or perception to just kind of search as you are moving towards them. So,
Okay.
any of you guys can
I-
roll. All of you can roll.
What are we rolling again? I couldn't catch that.
Either perception or investigation, whichever one you like
Okay.
better.
I got 22 perception.
Okay.
Yay! And that was a good 6.
Okay.
10 perception once again.
Okay.
7
21.
investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Perception.
17 investigation.
All right. And then
That
Arai.
was 6.
21
All right.
perception.
Cool.
Yeah, that was 6 in investigation.
Okay. So as you guys are going, for the most part, you are looking at a city that again shouldn't exist for different reasons this time. The city looks livable, aside from the lack of things like furniture. And it seems for the most part kind of feature complete. You know, it's got most of the stuff that you would expect a city to have. You don't see any big, large gathering areas like a tavern or an inn or anything like that. but there's enough kind of community built into it that it seems like people could exist in this city. They just don't. And again, another thing that you see constantly is just a complete lack of doors. Any building that you go into, again, they have doorways, and each one of the kind of smaller rooms has doorways, but there's no indication of any door that was supposed to be there. There are no kind of hanging separators or anything like that.
So there are no more locked doors.
Yes, this is a perfect place for you guys. In addition to that, as you guys are going, you're starting to see things that look slightly different. The first thing that Arai actually notices is you guys really haven't been seeing any sort of windows or anything in the buildings. The only thing that kind of lets any sort of light in tends to be the main doorway. And because most of these buildings are a single central room with a few rooms set off from it, it doesn't seem like a massive deal. But as you're going, you actually see a perfectly circular hole in one of the walls. The hole itself does not look aesthetic. It seems like an almost random placement of it, but it is absolutely perfectly circular. As you guys continue to go, you do start seeing, seeing piles of rubble and other kind of stone objects. A few of them look kind of statuesque, but there's been enough wear on them that it's really hard to tell what they were supposed to be at one point. And again, they're not placed in very aesthetically pleasing places. Some of them are in the middle of the walkway. Some of them are up against walls. Some of them seem to not be in the place where they're supposed to be, where you can see kind of like rubble marks that the thing has obviously been moved and broken as part of that movement. In addition, I believe the highest was Arai with a 21, right?
No, Crexney 22.
22. Oh, Crexney, then. Crexney, as you're going, you eventually see something that looks incredibly out of place. To the right, almost kind of down a hallway, you see something not really shining, but the fact that it is white, where everything else here is kind of a dull gray, down to like kind of dark browns and deep blues and blacks. Something that is white stands out and almost glows because of how much it stands out.
I'm gonna tug on Arai and say, "Look what I found! It's shiny." And then everyone else is gonna hear me say it, so they're gonna be like, say whatever they want to say.
Oh no.
Or I hand Crexney back her sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter.
Everybody hits the deck. Do you guys want to go over and look, I'm assuming?
If Gracie found something,
Okay. So as you go over there, you can see what is obviously the remains of bones. Unfortunately, these bones, an archaeologist would have a hard time fitting these bones back together. Whatever they were was something relatively large, but they are broken and beaten. You can see impact, fractures, and the things in it. Whatever this skeleton used to be, after it was a skeleton, something impacted it many, many times, and you have a hard time really figuring out what it is. You do pick up relatively large teeth from it, and
teeth like biting it, or teeth attached to it.
teeth that used to be attached to it. And you do notice a lot of the bones are lighter than they appear. They're very porous. Still decently heavy bones, but not nearly as heavy as, say, like the carapaces of the T-Rexes that you fought.
I wonder why this is here.
I wonder what made those.
Well, just to clarify, did Crexney find them with rubble on top, or
No
like,
rubble
or,
on
like, maybe
top.
just first-
Just there.
Okay.
And bright
There-
white.
Around there?
Yeah. Say again?
Rubble around it?
No.
Around the area?
Clean. The whole area
The
around
whole
us is
area
clean, right?
Okay.
It doesn't look destroyed at all. It looks like a clean, just empty.
Yeah, you're effectively
Stone.
in an alley between houses, as much as you might call it an alley. Chax, you're familiar with alleys.
Very.
So yeah, you're basically in between houses, and as far as you can tell, there's no rubble around it. There's no indication of anything that fell on it. But it's obvious to all of you because you all have combat experience. You know what impact fractures on bones look like. A lot of you have caused them. So it's obvious that something hit these bones, and that is what has brought them to this state. And it's not like natural decay or something like that. You see splinters and shatters and breaks from impacts.
Just got into a big fight.
Maybe they got trampled.
So, did it get in a big fight with something that's already down here?
When in a fight, maybe they got trampled from people fleeing.
Maybe.
Want to take them?
Can we take piece of them? It's not that
Sure.
heavy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, like, any findings we have, like we found
Yeah.
evidence, we found bones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn
is
sight
there-
more than I promise you anyone found up topside if they come here.
it's fair.
Oh, that is very fair.
And it's theoretically possible someone with a larger kind of zoological background might be able to figure out more than you guys can about these. So,
Okay.
as you guys continue on, I need dice.
You know.
Well, I don't like to pick on people, so when random things happen, I like to roll for them. Smegwick,
God damn it!
as you are walking around, again, it's a decent trek. And with your smaller stature and kind of smaller legs, you're basically, especially compared
Little
to someone like Crexney, who's this very kind of tall, long-legged individual, you're taking like 1.5 to 2 steps for every step that Crexney takes. So as you go, you start to get a little bit winded. Not something that is out of the ordinary for you. Again, you were a scout. You're used to kind of long treks.
I did a lot of running in the Feywild.
So it's not that this is uncommon to you, but the air here is a little bit different. It's taking your lungs a little bit of time to kind of get used to the different mix of things. And so as you're going, every so often you'll like put your hand on a building or something just to kind of steady yourself. And this most recent time, as you put your hand on something, you instantly pull it back and notice this kind of faint, kind of bluish green slime is on your hand. And as you look over to the building, there's kind of a spot that kind of almost bleeds down the building of just slime on the outside of this building.
Okay, so my first action is I'm doing that thing from Ghostbusters, just
Oh wow, actual physical contact.
And
Thank you,
the only
Bankman.
sound that came through for that was like very gentle. It cut off like all the.
anyone want to get a sample of this?
I'll do it.
I don't want it in my fur.
Yeah, I'll get a sample of it.
Did it look like the building itself is bleeding, or like something bled on the building?
The slime looks like something. It doesn't seem to be connected to the building. There's nothing about this building
Okay.
that seems different than the other ones
Slime,
you've just
okay.
seen. It seems that something has deposited this slime on the.
Just also to be clear, this shit's not burning me, right?
No, it's
Or poisonous
uncomfortable.
or anything.
It's uncomfortable because it's slimy,
Sticky.
but
Does it feel? Does that just clarify? Does it feel hot? Does it feel cold? Is it just like room temperature?
it's colder than you are. So it feels cold to the touch, but it's not an uncomfortable
Like cold.
temperature.
So cool to the touch.
Yeah,
Hey guys, I will be right back.
sure.
Well,
Like
now that
thinking
he
of
got the
kid
sample,
slime. Or a sticky hand. Is it sticky or like what's the
like slime or like gum or like
It's
mucus.
it has a kind of mucus consistency to it. It's kind of slick. It leaves a residue. I would call it slick rather than sticky. So
I put it in the sample cup. I make fart sounds with it.
What does it smell
It
like?
does do-
Megwig, you want to take a sniff?
you are welcome to check its scent.
taste it next? Give us all the senses, all the experience.
I'll say if you do smell it, it has no odor. Not that
Poison.
you don't recognize like it. Zero odor whatsoever.
It's poison.
Absolutely. Would you like to ingest some of it?
Sure.
But you said that after you went. Iocane.
A little bit salty.
we were giving you the idea. We're just standing back and mimicking. So
Guys,
Like
this
lick.
Guys-
Nip, nip, nip.
guys, this tastes like ricin.
Sat. Yeah. Hemlock.
I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my tongue.
I will say, does anyone want to taste it? Like, you guys are welcome to do it, and I know what will happen if you taste it.
That's
I don't
usually a
wanna know.
rye. That's usually a rye.
I've learned
The walls
Don't-
are leaking. Just let it be known.
I would assume a
gonna
Rye
taste it.
eventually
We'll take
traveling with his parents would have eventually learned the idea of don't put things from ruins in your mouth.
that
I
was like
remember the
biggest-
mushroom forester.
I didn't taste anything.
You tried to.
I would.
Mm.
It's not a ruin.
That's natural. It's not a ruin. There's the difference.
That's nature.
Mom, my
Nature
parents
is
always
meant
used
to
to
be
yell
tasted.
at me when I went to put relics in my mouth. I learned better.
Nature is meant to be tasted. That's how you
Exactly.
experience nature.
Exactly.
Ghosts are not. All right, so back to the slime. Rub it on your pants. Let's go.
I'm sorry. So is it coming out of cracks in the wall, or is it like holes or something, or is it
It's just
Or do
on the building itself.
Something got thrown at the wall.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that there's nothing above it that could have dripped it on there, it looks like it's just kind of fell on the building.
That's
Spiders
disconcerting?
can climb. How high is the ceiling? Can we see a ceiling?
From where you guys are, you can see the bottom of the veil.
Relatively speaking, shouldn't it be dry as shit down here?
Everything else has been dry. Everything else has been very, very dry.
I'm going with giant spider by now. I'm out.
Spiders that spit slimes that hopefully aren't poisonous. It was all over Smegwig's hand.
I prestidigitated my hand clean a while ago. You have to get the samplings after me just doing this and
I liked imagining him just sitting there playing with it on his
The
hand.
whole way that we walk.
Fun texture.
All right, so
So
keep
how about
walking.
we, get away from
The slime wall. I'm out.
ever potentially could have made that. So we have bones, we have slime wall. What other stuff have we picked up? Notes.
And no furniture.
No furniture. No furniture yet. No doors. Couldn't fit.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
You saw
Owie.
the rolling.
I saw him roll.
Yep.
Freaked
Owie.
out.
Can you hear me,
Okay,
Owie?
pick me.
Yeah.
Okay, pick me. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
I did.
Sorry, we just weren't hearing you. Owie,
Sorry.
as you're walking, you suddenly kind of stumble a little bit, and as you look back, you realize that what you've stumbled on is a tiny object. It's the first object that you guys have really found here, and as you get closer to it, before I say the wrong thing, I'm going to look up. As you get closer to it, you notice it's kind of it's a small kind of humanoid looking figure. I mean, it's got 2 arms and kind of fused legs, and it doesn't have a face, but it does have eyes that just have this very strange look to them, like kind of a mixture of kind of fear and kind of intense stare. And it was just sitting in the middle of the street.
So it's like really tiny.
Yeah, it's kind of like D&D mini sized. It's just a
What is it
tiny
made
little
out of?
figure. It seems to be made of some mineral.
Human skin and bones.
Yes, human skin, bones, a little bit of your innocence.
I'm ready to go home.
No, it's made out of some mineral that you can't really identify, and the eyes themselves are some sort of paint-like thing. But if you try to like rub them off or anything like that, they don't. Like they just seem to be a permanent aspect of this kind of weird, eerie, humanoid figure. And if you can find 4 more and a set of dice, you guys can play some D&D.
Hey now. Why do we need to find a set of dice? We have an artificer.
Oh yeah, you can just make dice.
See? The
So,
figures
already-
have to find those.
so Owie, did you have anything you want to do with that information?
I bend down and like offer my hand and see if it wants to climb on.
Well, it's just a
It's fake. It's not real. It's not alive.
yeah, it's not alive. It's just a
Oh.
little. It's like a mini thing, like a
A doll.
yeah, like a little
Oh.
action figure.
Oh. I bend down and I poke at it with one claw.
Okay. As far as you can tell, it tips over and falls.
I'm just standing there.
It
Okay.
No.
doesn't seem to be anything. Doesn't seem to be anything dangerous about it except those weird eyes.
Hey guys, put the dog to bed. I found this weird little thing on a path.
Well, that's
Think it's
creepy.
anything dangerous?
You didn't
His
pick it up,
eyeballs,
right? You're just
maybe.
pointing at us?
She picked it up.
I thought she pushed it over. Did you pick it up or did you just push it over?
I just poked at it
Okay.
and it fell.
So, do you guys want to pick it up? You want to leave it alone? You want to step on it?
Break his head off.
Yeah, I
Put it in
mean,
slime.
yeah. Do you want to
Yeah,
put it?
yeah,
Yeah, you can
roll
put
it
it in
in
the
slime.
slime. See if that does anything.
Just
See
let
if
it
it'll
hang in
preserve
there.
it, or what'll happen.
Every 90s toy.
Get in the wall.
Yeah. Arai is going to walk up to it and just sort of not
Not
just sort
touch
of
it.
crouch down and try and So we recognize the form, or we didn't recognize the form?
No, the form is kind of amorphous. It does have two arms that are kind of out like this. You don't see any kind of fingers or anything. They're more just kind of amorphous.
Jumps.
Yeah. And
So
then
like it's in a T pose.
kind of a little, not quite fully out to side. Like it has almost like a hugging motion that it's making. Like if
Does
you
it look?
go
Or
ahead.
save me.
No, go ahead.
It looks like something like a child might have. You can't tell if the creature has only a single leg or multiple legs because they're kind of fused together as like some small toys. Like the base is just a base, and then it does have a shape roughly the size of a head. And on it, where eyes should be, are two eyes that look kind of
Bulging
disturbing.
out of the face.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it. Anybody?
I mean, we can put it in a container. Everything's something for us to look at, or someone else to take a look at.
All right.
I'm gonna take one of my arrows and just poke it. Not with the sharp end, but with like the
Allie
feather
already
end.
poked it.
Oh,
Yeah,
he did. She did. Okay, I'm
and
sorry.
it fell over.
I went to
Yeah.
the bathroom, so I don't know what
It was
happened.
it was
Sorry.
standing up, and she knocked it over with her claw.
Okay.
I don't have detect magic.
I can do detect magic. Yeah, give you 10 minutes.
Well, I'd hate to pick it up and just
Disappear. Warp.
Yes.
So it'll turn into another figure that looks just like it.
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking.
yes, yes. So, because we've already had the experience of someone warping somewhere.
Who would have done something like that?
I don't know, but Arai knows better because he's in a ruin right now. Everyday life doesn't apply. Ruins, I got this.
So, yeah, Smegwig, if you want to take 10 minutes, you can.
Yeah.
Uh,
all right. That's one of the spells I picked up.
So,
While he's doing that, Arai's gonna just sort of continue to move down and see if there's anything else that stands out creepily.
remarkably enough, again, the one thing that you guys haven't found here is anything that's not kind of built into the walls. So this is the first indication you guys have found of anything that was created outside of the buildings. You haven't found silverware, you haven't found shoes, nothing, but there is this random figure. And as you look around, there's literally nothing around it. The road itself that you guys are on is kind of artificially smooth. This is obviously a man-made road. And there's no holes in it. There's nothing that would indicate that this was hiding somewhere. And you guys didn't see it before Aoi stepped on it.
Magic. Okay.
So after about to the 10 minutes, Smegwick, you start looking around, and the item itself, nothing. However, as you look around, there's a relatively strong kind of magic field around here. So like everything has that kind of glowing effect, but something that you've never seen before ever is the weave and the kind of ambient magical energy around keeps twisting and kind of spiraling in random places. So you look over here and you will watch as the weave just kind of twists into a spiral and kind of gets wrapped up in itself and then slowly works its way out. Magic is always kind of in flux, especially if people are accessing the weave and casting spells and things like that. In a place that's suffused with enough magic, you can actually watch, using detect magic, you can actually watch the weave kind of manipulate as people cast spells. But you've never seen it like twist and kind of get caught on itself before. And you never in any of your kind of studies of magic, you've never heard of that being something that can happen. Like, that's not how the weave works. When you get kinks in the weave and things like that, bad things happen. You'll get things like anti-magic zones. And you'll get things where, like, if you cast a spell, if it goes through an unstable place of the weave, the magic doesn't work the way it's supposed to. A fireball might explode directly on you instead of going where you're supposed to, or it might turn into confetti. So the fact that whatever is happening here, there's a high enough level of magic around that you can see faint traces of it, is a little bit worrying. But the fact that it's twisting on its own is significantly more worrying to you.
But it also straightens itself out.
Yep.
Oh, this is freaking weird.
Another thing, like, the weave in and of itself likes equilibrium. Like any kind of natural force, it wants to be calm and steady.
Just keep.
But yeah, it doesn't actively work at righting itself. Generally, that's what the deities are there for. The god of magic that I totally remember because I wrote everything about this, and would, of course, not forget something that I wrote.
You write a lot of things. You've got a lot of cool ideas. And campaigns.
All right.
And player backgrounds.
Give me just a second for me to actually look up what my deities are called. There's, like, not even that many of them. The Almighty Magus is the god of magic. And that's, as much as the gods don't really interact with mortals almost at all anymore, the kind of generally accepted practice is that each one has something that they do that keeps them so busy that they can't really interact with humans too often. And the whole purpose of the Almighty Magus is to keep the weave working the way it's supposed to, because without the weave, everything goes wrong. The Feywild relies on it exclusively. No weave, the Feywild dies. The prime material plane, because it's connected to all the other planes, needs that. All the elemental planes have a connection to aspects of the weave. It's really important to have someone kind of watching over it. But this idea of it just kind of warping and then unwarping on its own doesn't fit with your understanding of the Almighty Magus.
I think I may not know what the hell's going on, but maybe I have an idea what these people were studying now. If this was like research or something. This is trippy.
What do you mean?
Well, the paperwork we have is like weird algorithm, formulae, sciencey stuff that we can't make sense of. It's another language. And magic's, I'm literally looking at magic fold on itself and then straighten itself out. Maybe they did
Yes.
research here.
What does the veil look like to you when you're using detect magic? Like, or DM, what does... Alright,
Normally-
really, so he wouldn't
That
know.
is a good question.
Normally, you cannot see the veil. The veil is kind of the underlying code that makes magic possible. In places that are suffused with magical energy, you can't technically see the veil, but you can see the kind of saturation of magic that kind of sits on top of it.
I mean the
And
weave,
that's
right?
kind of, or the weave, thank you, sorry.
Oh,
The
okay.
weave, not
Make
the
sure I
veil. The
understood.
veil's something different.
That would be
No, the weave you generally
Go
can't
ahead.
see. And technically what he's seeing here is not technically the weave, but the magic is just so heavy here that
Yeah.
you
it's
can kind of
ambient.
infer it, you know, in the same way that you can't see wind. But if there's smoke around, you can see the pathways of it, and you can tell where the wind is.
That's what, oh, so I shake my head like, oh yeah, and I look at the figure.
It's not there anymore.
Okay, no, fuck that. No.
You do, when you look to where it was, you do see a kind of warping in the ambient magic that's kind of resolving itself.
Oh, where it was? It's kind of. Oh.
Megweg, what is it? What do you see?
The thing's gone. I know where.
What thing's gone?
The figure. Little
Where's it?
figurine.
What are you talking about? It's right here.
No, there is. Just for fun, Reggie, why don't you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no.
Just for fun.
Just for giggles, you know.
16.
16. Okay. You have no idea what he's talking about.
I have no idea what you're saying.
There was you don't remember any kind of figure existing.
Oh shit.
Reggie, there was a figurine right there, and now there's not. And I'm watching how it's like breaking apart where it was, the magic around there.
Okay. Hold on. And he just starts like, this figurine was on the floor, right? It was on like at our feet somewhere. Okay.
Do we all
Reggie-
hear this conversation?
Reggie
we
just
all
kind of
not
starts.
see?
Okay, Reggie just starts pointing at the ground, like, okay, I'm gonna just start pointing. You tell me if I'm getting hot and cold of wherever this imaginary figurine is. Like, and he
It's
just
not
starts like,
there anymore. It broke down.
what do you
the
mean
rest
it
of you-
broke down?
Just to clarify, the rest of you don't see the figurine anymore either.
But we never knew it was there.
The rest of you knew it was there. Reggie seems the
Oh,
only person
okay.
that doesn't realize there was a figurine.
Does
Reggie, what are you talking about? It was a little figure. Looked like no.
Okay, did I like hit my head or something? What is this figure? Like, did I miss something?
I think you went to the bathroom.
That was not my intention, but that's hilarious. Take inspiration.
I honestly had a feeling that was like something meta like that was gonna happen here.
No, I just, because of what is going on that you guys don't know, it made sense that one of
Okay.
you would have an issue, and you
Two-
were talking at the time.
Two things. One, I take a real quick look at the slime we collected.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just nothing?
It's just slime. It's just
It's
nothing.
just slime.
Okay. Second of all, I'm just like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do something tiny,
Ah,
and where the figure was, I am gonna cast minor illusion
Okay.
and see what happens. I'm gonna try and recreate what we saw where it was.
Okay. Other than the fact that it has no form because it's an illusion, it works.
And
Reggie-
I'm doing it to see because I have to tech magic up. I'm seeing how
It
that's
seems to be
interacting.
working the way it's supposed to right now. You do notice it is very easy for you to cast it. And that's typical in a place that is just suffused with a lot of magic. Magic comes easier to people, especially if you have training in it, or in your case, you have someone with significant amounts of training helping you.
That was really. You remember Nope Island?
No.
you're gonna have to be
Nope.
a bit more
I'm,
specific.
I'm looking at Reggie. Like, Reggie, I swear to God, you better remember Nope Island.
Okay, just to be clear, and this is Evan talking. He's talking about the one that had like the weird cult, like the first
Yeah.
island that we went
Yeah.
to. Oh God, the place where they called breakfast morning meal.
Oh,
But remember, for us, it was getting. We could still cast magic, but it was felt harder to do it.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite. It's the opposite here. And that felt fluid. That felt really. I'm gonna do something because I know I know unless you're an arcane trickster, Smegwick casts Mage Hand, and Mage Hand is rather spectral.
Okay. As the mage hand comes out, normally your mage hand has kind of a spectral thing. The mage hand that appears before you looks
A little more
effectively
opaque.
like Thing
Like
from
a
the
real
Addams
Thing.
Family. Like
I was
it
wondering if it
has-
was a little bit more opaque.
No, it has flesh and fingernails.
Ah!
Oh
and-
wow! Turn it
That's
off.
not right. That's not right. That's
Turn
not
it
right.
off.
That's not right.
And
God.
Smegwick's like, whoa, that's like Smegwick should be somebody's like, whoa, that's really because he's casting it, so like it's just a spectral. I'm sorry, not even spectral. It's a floating magical hand.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the live action family Addams Family movies with Raul Julia, you know how Thing looks where
Yeah.
the hand just ends?
Yeah,
It's exactly that.
just
Yep.
floating.
Yep.
It's not grotesque or anything. It's
Yeah,
literally
it's
I'm
just
leaving.
a hand.
I'm done.
Wait, that's yours?
I'm moving. Yeah.
And
See?
it is
Alright,
it is
I can touch
it
it.
is a human hand, not a goblin hand.
Ew.
Reggie walks over and he
Whoa.
just puts a
High-five
hand on the mage hand just to feel like, is it actually like flesh and skin?
It's kind of creepy to touch it. As you touch it, it feels weird.
Oh.
Oh, I lost
You-
control of it! I lost control of it! He's like, go over, Reggie. I'm not
Hurry,
doing it!
stop goofing off, guys.
As you do that, your detect magic is starting to wear off, and you do see this kind of warping effect around your hand. And as it gets closer to Reggie, it turns into its kind of normal spectral self.
Okay, that looks normal. That looks normal.
Eh.
Eh.
Mm.
Feels,
I'm-
magic just feels juicier.
Hold on, I'm gonna try a little something, just to see. I mean, that one's an actual like spectral thing that you can control. Let me try something. I'm gonna cast minor illusion, and I'm going to just try and make like a little image appear on the ground, like
That's
a little
what I did.
That's
two-dimensional.
No, he just did that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah.
So
But he said it had no
to kind of go back just a little bit. When you cast minor illusion, you did create the
Doll.
figure
But it was just an
that you
illusion.
guys are. It just there was no physical presence to it because it was
Yeah.
an illusion. And Reggie, when you saw it, it was creepy, and it was the first
Why
time
is
you'd
it that
ever
when I
seen
went to the bathroom, all the important details happened?
it. How it
Jeez.
goes.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I do my
then
best
roll that
to
back.
kind of fill you in. So yeah, you saw the minor illusion, and that's when Smegwick mentioned, yeah, that was really, really easy to do. And if you want to cast your own minor illusion, you can. And again, minor illusion is a cantrip, right? So-
Yes.
Minor illusion being a cantrip, it's normally something that you can do with very little effort. And if you do attempt to cast minor illusion, it is exceedingly easy. Like, it just happens. You don't have to focus on it. You don't have to plan it or anything. You just kind of look, and what you wanted to appear appears.
In this case, however, I'm gonna do a minor illusion that's sound based, and I'm just
Okay.
gonna make it. And so instead of visual, I'm going for audio, and I'm just gonna make it sound like in a little spot of the ground like that I'm looking at. I'm gonna make it sound like my violin is just playing right there. Like there's a little sound source right there.
Okay.
You cast Bo's, demonstration button.
Yes.
Yeah.
B-O-W-S.
That's when we learned this entire place is an abandoned Best Buy.
So
Except
as
for that
you
big alien that's about to come at us. now.
as you attempt to make the sound of your violin, you guys suddenly hear rain starting to fall.
Oh, I'm going to sleep. KO.
Underground.
There's no
Okay.
rain, but you can hear it. You even hear little bits of thunder.
Did I do this?
And as
Well,
soon as
shoot.
it started, it stops because minor illusions are relatively short
Dang.
duration.
Super
That's for a minute.
beautiful.
I guess the one last thing Perspective's going to do is going to use prestidigitation, and he's going to this is just for a base test. He's going to do prestidigitation, and he's just going to make the smell of lemon.
Okay.
You guys are over here having too much fun. I'm gonna say that right now.
I'm gauging. I want to see how intense is it.
You smell grapefruit.
I went for lemon. Is it really strong, or is it just it just
like
shifted over
grape-
to grapefruit?
Like grapefruit. Somebody cleaned with like a grapefruit based cleaner like a few hours ago. So it still has that kind of lingering scent, but it's faded.
Okay. Well, it's easy, but the target seems to be a little off.
Okay, so you wanted lemon, and it gave you a bigger fruit. I just tried to make a sound of a violin. It gave me a whole spa treatment. You tried to do Mage Hand, and it gave it flesh.
You got Mage Hand Plus.
You got Mage Hand Plus Plus. That was freaky. So obviously, whatever we do in here gets upgraded, but it's upgrades in a very
Backwards way.
wild
With a
way.
unique flavor.
Well, okay.
And most definitely none of this could backfire on you guys. So
Not at all.
Oh, not at all.
Not especially when we have to battle something that's huger than we all are.
Hey, maybe in here, maybe my cure spells might actually do something.
It's
You're-
smaller. It's just really
Well, I mean,
powerful. And not what we
granted,
expect.
granted, it's speculation, but if this is what these people were researching, and intensified magic might not be the worst way to fight this thing.
Yeah, but you do damage and you end up healing them.
Well, it seems to be
Or vice
adjacent to what
versa.
you're intending to do. It's like I went for lemon, I got grapefruit. He went for music, he got
Rain.
ambient background music.
Yes,
got
but he could
Enya.
try and heal. He could try and heal a wound, and instead of actually the skin closing, the skin could do the opposite and open more.
Well, hasn't it? Well, so far, no, I'm just saying. So far, everything done hasn't been opposite. It's just been like it's been a little off.
Well, but that
I
is
want
a
you
little off.
all
It's just
to-
growing in the
Opposite.
wrong direction. It's
Okay,
it's
I would
worse
like
for
every
us,
single one of
but
you
it's
to
just-
smack me if we're in a situation where I'm tempted to cast Thunderwave in this place.
Arai cracks his
Sure.
knuckles.
And I will welcome that, alright.
All right, I guess let's
Keep investigating.
keep it moving. To the elevator. I gotta get out of here.
okay. So as you guys keep going, you do start finding more kind of holes. You actually at one point you actually find kind of a, again, perfectly circular hole, cylindrical more like, going into the road, about like 10-ish feet.
Does it look like anything
It's
is
a worm.
supposed to be in there, or
Worms. It's worms.
No, it's just it only goes about to 10 feet, and it's just kind of a lack of things. Like someone had gone in and just like cut out a little cylinder of the ground, and it's not like perfectly straight down. It's at an angle.
Moles. Hamsters.
rabbits?
Rabbits. I'm gonna guess one of these. It's gonna keep going until we get
Just
to
keep naming vermin. Possum.
Go first.
Drop
it.
bears.
Over. Whack-a-mole.
Capybara.
Capybara.
Kookaburra.
Flamingo.
Burrowing owls.
Bingo.
Oh. All right, let's keep moving.
So eventually, again, after a few hours, and these kind of weird things keep happening, you're seeing more kind of complete kind of stone objects. One of them is more full size, like technically a little bit taller than the average human, like 6'6", 6'8". And it's a humanoid form, very similar to the figurine that you guys found, just like life size. And this one
Okay.
actually does have 2 complete legs, but it is it's not like reaching out. It has like one arm behind it, and it's obviously in motion and just stopped.
Have you seen Dr. Stone?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, nope, don't look it up. I don't want it.
Gotcha.
I don't want him to be connected.
Gotcha.
Because why? Thank you. More monster information from my other campaigns. More inspirations. Oh.
But
Well,
So
eventually,
does it also have the same sort of?
Yes.
this one actually does have
Okay.
face. It's definitely not human.
Another
It
big
doesn't.
bug eyes.
Right.
It doesn't seem to have a mouth. It does have kind of a nose shape to it.
Eyeballs. Big.
And it does have eyes that are humanoid. They look similar enough to your guys that it doesn't seem odd. And one of the upper arms has kind of digits coming off of it. The other one is mostly smooth, kind of almost tentacle-like, or pseudopod, I guess would be a better description of it.
Mm.
We
Well.
came across something that was a little weird like that back on the other place. Kind of aquatic in vibe. I don't know if the two were related though.
Yeah, maybe this village did something that was out of control, and now the place is deserted because of it.
Do these look like they're made of the same sort of stone as everything else around us, or do they
No.
look different? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Whatever material they are carved from, it is most definitely not the same as the rest of the stone that you guys see around. The statues actually look kind of familiar as far as stone is concerned. Like, this looks like kind of regular rock, unlike everything else where it's, it's veil rock. It's a little bit like jazz with a little bit of like reggae mixed in.
Lemon, grapefruit.
So I love that I went music and you went food.
I say.
So yeah, this looks much more what you would consider quote unquote stone.
Do we see any more stone around us, or just a big figure?
Yeah, you see other kind of piles of stones and the things like that. Now seeing
Piles
kind
like
of
rubble.
kind of now
Like
seeing
those.
seeing a kind of complete figure, you can kind of see that a lot of the piles of rubble probably were similar to this statue at one point, and through decay or improper carving when it was originally, cut from stone, they just kind of collapsed under their own weight. A few of them kind of showed indication that they were hit by something. But
Nope. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
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 I
What a
do.
gopher.
So
What a
Smegwick
gopher.
is Smegwick is going to go over to the thing. He's like, we're going to have to examine this. I was like, God, I freaking hate this. And he's like going to examine the stone. Since he's been studying his magic a lot more, and he's been looking into his magic, and as his abilities have been growing, and he's able to transmute his spells. He's wondering, is this like a spell creation type scenario, or is like he's familiar, like you shift things from one material into another, or if this was like a spell created this item.
go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
+6. 16.
What was it?
16.
16. Okay. So there are certain spell effects that can cause like petrification, where you turn basically organic matter into inorganic. The problem with kind of identifying something that's been petrified is after a decent amount of time passes, because of how the magic works, it reacts exactly like stone. And there's very little indication that
It was not
it
stone.
wasn't stone before. And with just kind of the age of everything around you, if this was done by something magical, it is far beyond the point that you personally would be able to tell whether or not this is a magical effect. You are aware of magical effects that cause petrification and things like that.
Yeah.
There's no way to tell if this was that or if this is just a very well carved statue.
All the figures that we've seen are humanoid. There's not like of animals or of.
Thus far, the only things that you have seen have been piles of rubble. That now that you've seen a single humanoid figure, you can kind of reverse engineer them in your head and go, okay,
Right.
that kind of makes sense that it might have looked like this at one point.
Right.
You haven't seen anything other than the pile of bones that would indicate any other shapes.
Right. Sorry, that's sort of what I meant, was going and investigating the other collapsed statues.
As far as you can tell, everything that you've seen thus far would fit this shape better than other shapes. You haven't seen anything that could be like quadrupedal or anything like that. As far as you can tell, again, a lot of this stuff is rubble, and you're missing bits of it because it's been here for a while.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is inference. But again, your background, you kind of do that naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So you're comfortable enough with it to say, yeah, it's possible that all these things could have looked like this before they broke. Yeah, 100% certain, but it's a distinct possibility. It makes sense to you.
Well, the other reason why I was considering this, and that this part was not a meta thing versus like what I put in chat. We also actually did encounter people back at Nove Island as well
Yeah.
that had been experimented on.
Oh God.
As far as you can tell, this doesn't fit with the experiments that you saw there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have the same vibe. It looks to be, I mean, from what your description, it seems to be more fluid in the statue that we see.
The experiments that you saw back there were very much, it's not piscine. Very much had kind of a cephalopoid style, very kind of squid-like and crustacean, like.
Yeah, I remember crustaceans, like claws and stuff.
Yeah, crustacean, squid, kind of, something that you would see in an Under the Sea musical number. This is, again, it's much more kind of amorphous, more pseudopod than tentacle, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to keep going? At this point, you're only like 15 minutes away from
the elevator?
The pillar.
Hoping it's an elevator. We're hoping it works.
Not, I can throw you.
Spider monkey.
So, as you guys eventually get to this pillar, the first thing you notice is, while everything else, again, is made of this stone and is relatively smooth, it's still stone and rock. The pillar is effectively glass. It is incredibly smooth. And it is pure black. It almost looks like obsidian.
Obsidian.
Aside from the fact that obsidian can't really be formed this way. Obsidian is effectively melted volcanic glass. Getting it this smooth in this particular thing would require someone that was very, very, very talented. And cylindrical shapes like that is not something that glass does well. You blow glass. It does good with spheres.
So remember you saying the stairs seem to have an obsidian-like quality, except for the fact they were not made of glass, but they seem to give that quality away. This is actually more of glass.
Yeah, this is even closer. It's definitely similar to whatever the stairs are made out of, but most definitely different. Same family, different species kind of thing. We'll say, and everyone roll me a perception check real quick.
God, why does my perception always suck?
Mine too.
I didn't see nothing.
An
You
8.
are preoccupied. 8.
I
Reggie?
am.
I see.
I got another one.
1. Oh, great.
Dang.
Howie?
4.
4. Gotcha. Reggie?
Do you need
11.
LASIK?
Okay.
Probably.
Arai?
17.
Unless I'm falling
17.
down the stairs, then I can get 20s.
So the rest of you guys are kind of focused on this very, very large pillar. Arai, you notice that one of the smaller pillars that has houses around it, as you're kind of looking around, you notice one of the ones that's close to this doesn't actually go to the top. It stops short. And as you look at it, you notice that the rise on the stairs is shorter than all the other stairs as you guys have looked at.
Alright, he's not going to say anything. He's just going to start walking up the stairs.
Okay. It's still very, very tall.
It's
But
okay.
it effectively looks like the tower was just kind of pushed down or something. Like everything is squished on it.
There's something at the top. He knows that there's something there, so he must go see.
So, like the other one, you're still looking at probably an hour's worth of climbing to get to the top.
You
Again,
have fun with
They're
that.
very large.
Stay in the group. Stay in the group. Stay in the group.
So if you
Okay.
want to spend an hour getting to the top, you can.
In the group.
Alright. Then he's just going to bring that to the group's attention.
Okay.
And then highly suggest we go and check it out. Since
Oh, we will. I just like my
My
freaking legs are
feet hurt.
tired.
We got tired enough going
Alright,
downstairs.
crouches
Now we have to
down
go
and offers his
up.
back.
Where's all gone? I can't do no more stairs.
You better hope if we have to leave in a hurry, stairs are not the option.
At this rate, I think there's only stairs in this place.
So, you guys have a choice. If you want to go explore this kind of partial pillar tower thing, you can. Or you can keep... There are buildings that are effectively attached to this very large pillar. You're not at one of them, but like 5 minutes away, you could get to one of these buildings.
Do the buildings closer to this structure seem different, like better quality, or they still seem uniform?
They definitely seem different. While everything else is basically center building with rooms off of it. So you always have a central room and then rooms off it, and there's never more than kind of one room removed from that central room. These buildings are linear. Room, 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 and then the tower itself. And you see that kind of repeated over and over and over again.
The design's more unique from the others.
I suggest resting here before trying to, like, explore further, but I'm almost not sure if that's a good idea considering the state of things.
Well, we should at least investigate them.
Hmm.
Okay,
That's the reason
maybe
why we
she's
rushed here.
We don't climb up any more stairs.
I think we
Absolutely
have a
not.
choice. We are gonna be climbing stairs. We took
Uh,
a rest.
Did we?
It was a session break, so yes.
I would say on your way to the down, if you guys wanted, you could have taken a short rest. Because again, you were
Okay.
climbing the stairs for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So, and there are, again, you guys passed basically rest stops on your way down. So you guys can all,
Alright.
you guys can all have taken a short rest.
To at least avoid exhaustion.
So, do you want to investigate the pillar? Or you want to investigate one of the buildings that goes into the large central one? The short pillar or the big one? The elevator, as you guys call it.
I believe it was originally referred to as the elevator.
La, 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 la.
The elevator.
I mean, do we want to examine any of the buildings on the ground level first? I mean, we're here.
It seems more interesting
And the elevator.
higher.
I don't know if I keep looking at houses. There's nothing in them lately.
Hmm.
Yeah, but these ones seem different. I'm just saying, so we can go up to that one if you want.
Like I said, there is
I
a
guess.
there is a house like within 5 minutes of where you are. If you guys want to, one of these sectioned ones that's
Sure.
different that goes
Let's
into
do the 5-minute
Okay.
run. Super speed.
So as you get there, again, you find the first room has the doorway with no door. And then as you go in, the second room has a door. Very similar
Oh.
to the doors that you guys
So
saw
fancy.
on the surface.
Oh god.
It's just big kind of
these-
glass door style doors.
Do you think these guys just created doors? They wanted them.
Or they're trying to keep themselves inside something and something out.
But if this was here when they went below the veil, it's potential that this door is something that's leading out again into the veils.
What way to find out? Who wants to open it? I do.
I think you're the only one who can unlock these stuck doors.
Okay.
So, yet again, with enough time and effort, you notice this one is not nearly as rusted as the other one, but it does have a locking mechanism on it, which the other one didn't.
From our side.
Yes.
Trying to keep things inside.
As far as you can't tell what's on the other side, so you don't know if the lock
But
is
the
on
lock,
both sides.
I'm locked. Oh.
So you just know that there is a lock on this side of the door. So
Okay.
if anyone wants to try to pick the lock, that would be a thieves' tool check.
I'll do it.
Me.
Do we want to open this door?
What's the first door you guys found?
I'll say why not.
Do you
We're
want
already
to check?
started.
Do you want to check for traps? Because I am worried about a culture like this setting up something really nasty.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it is a blast door like the ones we saw upstairs. I guess he wouldn't know the term blast doors. It is a door like one of the ones we saw upstairs, which is definitely meant to keep things out. What are
Check for
they
traps. Go ahead. Go ahead.
trying out?
Yes. Check
So-
for traps.
Whomever wants to check for traps, I need an investigation check.
Nobody?
I'll do it.
Check by grabbing it with my bare hand.
You're welcome to do that.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an investigation check then.
Nope. 9.
You didn't investigate well.
You
blow
detect no
up.
traps. Do you want to go ahead and roll your thieves' tool check then?
I can do that.
Okay.
These two. Oh.
Roll deception to make us believe it's fine.
We all step
Okay.
back.
So let's see.
For Smegwick, yeah.
Okay, so. Uh, 13.
13.
Oh, okay.
So, as you're kind of messing with the lock, it's just itself. It's not that it's an incredibly complicated lock in any way, shape, or form. It's, for lack of a better term, it is an alien lock. You've never seen a locking mechanism like this before. So, dealing with it, it takes you the better part of 15 minutes to get through it. But you do eventually hear this kind of click, and then you hear this almost thud sound as whatever this was connected to had some sort of very heavy weight on the other side that has now kind of released.
Oh dear.
Nothing else happens as a
What did
result
you do?
of it, though.
I just unlocked it. And I back away.
Okay.
I've never heard a thud like that, and you unlocked something, Reggie.
Did you break it? No,
I
I
don't
the
know what
sound
I
of breaking
did.
locks.
Look, I handled the lock. Someone else can actually open the damn thing.
Anyone want
Alright.
to open the door?
Arai's gonna open the door.
Okay. Very, very heavy. Someone with your strength, it's not difficult, but it's noticeable just how heavy this is. And then you feel the door open inward. And as it does, you get this blast of stale air
Ew.
as it opens up, and light kind of floods in. It's
Ah.
kind of a dry, kind of almost artificial blue light, if you're familiar with that kind of white light that is so artificial it comes off as blue.
Huh?
The room beyond is about the same size as the room that you guys are in. It's about 10 by 10. And at the other side of the room is another door that looks very similar to the one that you guys just dealt with.
Seems
What was-
like it's a maze.
What was
And from the
thud?
outside, we can't see that the room is longer.
I mean, opening the door, you guys can see it. Again, it's a...
But from the outside, I mean.
you can look in. Like, they're straight rooms. So even from the outside, you can just look in and see the next room.
No, I mean the outside. If I'm looking at the outside before we open the door, does it
Oh.
look like the room continues that long? No.
I mean, I guess I'm confused about what
So
you're...
she's looking at the outside of the building.
Does it look like
Sure.
a 10 by 10 building on the outside?
Yeah.
And so we can't see that there's another room straight down. So from the outside, it looks
what
like there's
you
one
guys
room.
what you guys can see from the outside is 3 separate rooms with the third room physically attached to the elevator.
Oh, okay.
So the room that's all white and bright is the second room that you can see from
Gotcha.
the outside. And from the outside, there's no visual difference between the 3 rooms. It's only from the inside that the second one seems strange and white. What do you guys want to do?
What made the thud sound?
The lock.
Looking around, it
Okay.
seems to be something internal in the door. The door itself is thick. It's like the door is like that thick. So there's plenty of room inside the door for a pretty complicated mechanical contraption to be in there.
Next door.
Sure.
So what is? So I guess we're going. Are we going in?
Yeah, I'm going in.
Okay.
Okay.
What is making the light?
No idea. It might be
Just-
the walls themselves. You can't see a source of light. It's just very kind of artificial and bright in the room.
Can we feel like it's warmer? Does it feel warmer? Like the lights
It does
are
feel
warm,
it does feel a little bit warmer in there.
but not like death hot? Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're going to be cooked. It if you've ever been on a stage before, the difference
Yep,
between
okay.
the lights
Just
being
warm.
off and the lights being on,
Got it. All right, to the
it's
next
not
door.
quite sunburn, but it's definitely noticeable.
It's just but the room is just empty. There's no like furniture.
No furniture, there's,
the raised bed or anything like that.
Yeah, it's completely smooth, and they are the rooms themselves are mostly spherical. The floors are flat, but the rest of the room is dome shaped, effectively.
Domed.
Like a permanent tiny hut.
Is the next door locked?
Yep, same lock as before. Reggie, if you want to try and pick it, you'd have advantage on this because you've picked one before.
All right, I'll give this one another shot. Thieves' tools check again
Yep,
Okay.
with advantage.
with advantage. Dang it. Okay.
I'm curious as to see what if the slime would react to the light.
31.
Oh no, I
What?
just
Dang!
rolled 2 d20s at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Like,
that's
dang. How'd you get that?
so 18 plus 4, that would be 22.
2.
Significantly
Easy.
easier for this time.
Easy.
Now you kind of see how the lock works. The lock itself, kind of the properties behind it are weird. But now that you kind of understand it, compared to kind of your normal lock and pinion set where you have these different things that eventually there'll be a break in them and that's how you turn it.
Yeah.
The lock itself is actually made of kind of concentric circles that you have to kind of put all together so that it turns like that. So it's an odd way to build a lock. But you do kind of figure out how it works. You guys hear the click. This time there isn't a large thudding sound. And it seems the door is unlocked. If anyone wants to open it.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling much more confident, so Reggie will open this one.
Okay.
And
boy.
yeah, he just says like, okay, first one I think I screwed up. This one, I was able to do it, but whoever designed these had a completely different way of thinking, and he's gonna open the door.
As you open the door, the door behind you slams shut.
Gosh darn.
Ah, son of.
And as you
Huh.
open the door, you are hit with this. It's not really stale air. It has almost kind of a moldish smell to it. Like if you've ever been in a basement that doesn't that isn't
Have
ventilated
well
correctly. Yeah.
Smeg was just is thinking back to when we had to clear out the captain's quarters again. It's like, ah,
Mhm.
break, ah! It's like pulling up the mast.
As you look around, you don't see any spores or anything, but you do see a door on the other side, and the door itself looks familiar, but you notice that the upper half of the door is glass. It is extremely dirty glass that you can't currently see through.
How does it smell like mold in a friggin' glass room?
Ew.
Wait, did everyone come into the second room with us? I'm assuming everyone's following, but
that was what I was working under the assumption of.
okay.
That's why I said.
Yeah.
That's why I asked when we were walking in.
Okay.
So, yeah. So if you guys want to go into the third room, if you want to try and go back out the door that you came in, you can attempt that as well.
Mm-mm.
What would you all like to do?
We're all walking forward.
Right as far in to the elevator.
So,
I
as
mean,
you
the
guys
other
get
door with the broken lock is closed, so
yeah. As you guys come in, again, it's 10 by 10 foot room, so it's not a massive room. The walls look kind of the same as the other ones, though they do have a bunch of kind of muck and stuff on it. Not like mold or anything, just kind of like dirt and dust that has kind of been there long enough that cleaning it would not be enjoyable. And then again, on the other side, there's a door, and the bottom half of the door looks like the other doors you've seen. But the top half is obviously a window that is covered in grime.
Oh.
And another door.
You can see the far wall is the same material as the pillar outside. So
But
it
this
seems
this one's actually definitely a window that's grimy.
yes, it's definitely a window.
Prestidigitation.
As you try to clean it, it doesn't work. A lot of the grime comes off, but the glass itself has had so many things on it that it's effectively permanently stained.
Ew.
So you can clean it as much as you want, but the glass has effectively been dyed to a non-translucent color.
baking soda and vinegar, just polish it all off.
You will eat through the glass before you get
Yeah,
rid
it's
of the color.
impregnated. It's impregnated into the glass.
It gets rid of the color. If there's no glass, there's no color.
I mean, it's a valid point. You also notice that this door doesn't have a lock, but it has two levers that aren't a part of the door itself. There's a lever on each side of the door that seems to be keeping it shut. And the door is wide enough that you would have to have someone on either side of the door to open
Oh, that's
it.
like security protocol shit.
To keep people out.
Yes.
Just gonna say that. That was a lot of locks.
Yeah, I'm starting to not like this.
Well, the question is, do we try to open this or do we try to go back out?
Mm.
I wonder if this is like the setup for. I mean, but maybe this is the process. But again, I don't know the process, but maybe that's the design that I did not like happening. But maybe it's supposed to like that's these people's standard operating procedure. Because again, they seem to be all about studying.
That could have been where they were running some of their experiments.
Or
If it's
where
that
they
deep
needed to
or-
get out. They locked them all the way in there. Just saying, all the locks are on our side, not on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, whoever wanted to frame us was apparently desperate in going in here. They definitely wanted that head start.
Yeah, but aside from, of course, that kind of makes you wonder. Aside from the discovery that all this is down here, there's not really much of anything down here aside from with all the weird magic stuff going on.
I mean, maybe they were after the research they were doing.
That is possible. Don't really know the goals of whoever it is that's seeking to seeking to get rid of us, but I don't know. I look around this whole place and up until this door with the two levers, it just seems kind of a letdown. The magical properties are kind of nice, but unless you can find some way to predict exactly what's going to happen, it's kind of pointless. Yeah, it's adjacent and maybe a bit more powerful, but it's the adjacent part is what kind of ruins it.
I'm just, believe me, I want to leave, but we might have to to understand what they were doing. We might have to take a look to see what's behind that door.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with you. So, do you want the left one or the right one?
Right.
I got the left.
Okay.
I'm pointing my crossbow just in case.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm
As soon as she
writing
says
a
anything that
spell.
starts with the sound S, Arai's gonna
Everyone
Arai's
drop.
gonna duck.
Reggie,
I'll stand in front of Crexy because I know that's where I'll be safest.
Reggie puts a hand on the lever, but he also puts his back right up against the wall, like facing everyone.
Smegwick is also 3 feet tall. So he better not be aiming that low.
So, as Arai and Reggie lift the levers, you guys feel a click, and you pull them out, and you watch as the door in front of you starts to slowly kind of sink into the floor.
Ooh.
This is a battlefield.
Can't
It's
take
official.
that door home.
As you look into the room, the first thing that you notice is there are kind of lights all of the room itself. And the room itself is massive. Easily a mile going to the other side. However, you can't see the other side because in the center of this room is a massive figure.
Octagon.
As you get a better look at it, the first thing that you notice is kind of tough, leathery, skin-like substance, but probably every 5 to 10 feet, there is a large circular bulge that comes out that has a effectively like an eyelid over it, and underneath it you can see a thin line indicating an opening of some sort that is currently closed. You see that again and again and again, and as you guys look more, you can see the room seems to go all the way up to just below the surface, and this entire room is this massive creature covered in these strange kind of eye-like structures. And you can see further up a pair of wings coming off it, big leathery wings. And as you kind of look into the room without going too far in, because I'm assuming no one's running in here,
Right? No.
you can see towards the right there's a massive bulbous aspect to it. Easily 400 to 500 feet high, mostly spherical, with a large eye that's currently closed and a massive toothy maw, slowly inhaling and exhaling. Tentacles coming off, ending in more eyes, are all over this massive, draconic-like figure.
Nope.
Backing up.
Unfortunately, that is where we're
Close the
going
lever,
to end
close the
it.
lever, close the lever, close the lever, close the lever, close the
Trying to
lever,
pull
close the
the
lever.
Close it,
door
close it,
open.
close it, close it.
Darn you, Jody. Unwind.
Wait, we can't end it. The door is still closing.
The door's not up. Wait.
As always,
Quick.
if you enjoyed this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channels, youtube.com/ChurchofTrainerJody. So check out Sis's stuff there. Like I said before, I am going to be raiding. Zelda Universe
Zelda Dawn.
TV. There we go. We're going to be rating Zelda Universe for the ZU-thon. Please say nice things to them as we raid them, because they're wonderful, amazing, awesome people, and they're raising money for a charity very close to my heart. So otherwise, again, is all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye. And I'm just waiting for the raid to be completed, because I'm not very good at this whole raiding thing.
You can press. There should be a button.
Yeah, it has to wait for people to be ready, so hit that.